Hey guys, SeanB's here, and today I want to show you guys the runes on the unit that I used the most in the last RTA seasons. As you can see, I only have around 26 unit if you disregard this piece of shit right here that I just got from a random mystical scroll. I didn't get Guardian last season, feels bad, but there's a lot of things I can improve on. For example, my speed, my wheel runes, my pick band, or the fact that I don't have Vanessa or Ciara. Maybe it's number 4. Yeah, maybe it's number 4. Anyway, let's go to the runes and how I use each of these units in actual fights. I really hope the explanation can help you use your own unit in the fight. And if you have any question about RTA, I would love to answer your question. And also, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Thank you very much. Now, let's get to Illusia. I love this unit. She's insane. Her skill 3 is actually irresistible. That's why she's really good against Artamiel. She's now using Violent Revenge, Speed, HP, and Attack. While Attack, her skill 2 can heal based on her attack power, and that is a very good healing skill on a 2-turn cooldown. It cleanses and boosts attack bar for your unit to potentially cut in between the enemy team. For example, if you can let a vert move between the enemy team, it can destroy the entire synergy of the enemy team. The default attack freeze with a 100% chance, but if you glance, you don't get the freeze. But most of the time, this is a very strong control skill. That's why I put on Revenge, and that's why I put on attack power. I can improve this slot, still trying to get that defense enchant, and still trying to get the attack enchant over here. Next up, Mina. She's rising in popularity even in higher rank RTA because she can crit if enemy doesn't have any debuff, and usually in the first turn of RTA, nobody has any debuff, and that allows her to crit all the time. And then you can put speed, could damage, attack, swift set on her. She's gonna be super fast. Disregard the crit rate, she can do some amazing damage and instantly one-shot Daphnes. Most Daphnes will not be too tanky. There are some tanky Daphnes out there, but most Daphnes is built with high damage. Especially in the lower rank, people tend to focus on speed and damage on Daphnes, so Mina is there to one-shot the Daphnes. Let's imagine this is a typical RTA fight. You go in, if you have your friend built on Swift, you can allow friend to put up attack power for Mina, and this will ensure that Mina can destroy any Daphnes out there. So we go right in, we do 7-7 and another 8.7. So in total, we did around 23k HP. There's no Daphnes that can survive that, most of them. Another situation will be against Vert, who also will not have any debuff, and you can potentially one-shot Vert as well. So we go in, we do chain attack, boom, boom, and boom. So this Vert almost died. My Vert's pretty okay. But if you have skill up on Mina, I didn't have any skill up, easy kill for the Vert right there. I mean, easy kill for Mina right there. Wusa, very typical immunity unit. I don't have a great Violent Wheel set for Wusa because you saw in the Legend tournament he was doing some insane thing. On a Violent set, the immunity will be more consistent, but I use Wusa as a typical Wusa to buff immunity in turn 1, and with around 290 speed, that is enough in most cases to outspeed the enemy with a simple friend or War Young speed lead. He's on Swift, Nemesis, speed, and HP. If possible, I would like to give him a Violent Wheel set, also speed, HP, or maybe speed, could damage, HP. Next up, my most favorite water unit to use, Shiho. He's using Violent Wheel, speed, could damage, and HP, but I focus more on attack substat because this skill can do some amazing damage, strip, and the skill 2 can instantly stun the entire enemy team if you are lucky. Sometimes you are. It's pretty insane. On Violent Rune, this unit can cycle turn like a madman. But some people use a Despair Shiho as well because they want to have like a secure full team stun with all or nothing. He's having 265 speed right now, only 2 speed in front of Hathor. So his function as a first turn stripper and occasionally full team stunner. Next we have the Guardian Josephine. Guardian Josephine. She's using Violent Will, speed, could damage, and HP. Why will and not focus on something else? there has been a rise of fast Ganymede out there because they want to reset Josephine so that the Hathor can sleep in peace. To counter that, you want your Josephine to be on wheel runes, but you don't have to because most of the time the Gani is still slower than Hathor for Hathor to strip and then Gani reset the enemy attack bar. So a lot of people run Revenge Josephine in case enemies strip the Revenge buff, or people run pure stats. I can change the wheel set here to something with much better stats, but having played with her on wheel rune to really counter those fast Gani, I really like her on wheel runes. If you're using her in guild battle, you don't need a wheel set. You probably use focus because her default attack can stun with a 50% chance and it will never land as a glancing hit, which means she stun every single thing. And Josephine's stun is something to be disgusted by. I call her Josephine. Virat is something I pick last, occasionally, not all the time. That's why he's not really fast. He's using violent wheel, speed, crit damage, and defense. I would love for him to be a bit faster, but I don't really pick Virat that often. I use him in guild battle a bit more, but when I pick him, he's usually gonna dominate the entire enemy team with freeze. I only pick him if I only see one or less immunity on the enemy field, so that if there's only one immunity, I can bend that unit, allow the entire enemy team to move, and then Virat take a turn and freeze them up. I have Mola and Bobo combo, but to really effectively use these two units together, you want them to be much faster than this, and I don't have the runes to do that, so I'm not really using Molong at this moment. I use Bobo a little bit more often when I see Amelia or just multiple immunity team, and Bobo become extremely strong in that situation. He's on Wheel Shield Revenge. Violent I think is really good against multiple buff team, so you can violent proc and steal buff like a chilling. On a Wheel Shield Revenge build, you have 2 stack right at the start, so it's easier to start the fight with the big damage, but overall in the long run I think Violent is still better. And I'm not using a crit damage build on him. I pick him into those Artamiel, Amelia kind of team, so I don't want him to crit and then trigger the Artamiel passive. He's there to deal with the Amelia or be a false ban for the enemy. If you don't ban Bobo, then your Amelia will just fuel him and he's going to do a lot of damage to Artamiel without worrying about the defense or the counter. Aja is one of my favorite water unit to use as well. He's really good when enemy has no wind unit. Wind unit really destroy Aja, especially Diana. But when there's no wind unit, nothing can really stop Aja. He's on Violent Wheel, speed, crit damage, and HP. He's kind of slow, that's why I'm using Wheel instead of Nemesis. But a lot of people use Nemesis so that when Diana hit you, you can potentially cut in between, and he's just so fast. With Nemesis attack bar gain, he's gonna be even faster. But because mine's on the slower side, I run Will just to be sure I won't get destroyed in turn 1. I can potentially sacrifice a little bit of crit rate in this rune to get a faster rune, and he can reach the 240 speed, and that's gonna be pretty amazing. But for now, whenever I pick him, I know that he's gonna dominate the fight because there's nobody's gonna stop him. Verd, the unit that is so popular, so cancer, a lot of people hate it, a lot of people have to use it. Violent Revenge, speed, crit rate, and HP. I'm debating between Revenge or Will because I don't have speed lead, which means I usually get outsped. So having a Will offset allow me to avoid bomb or defense break in turn 1. But I have had so many games where a Revenge proc from Verd just win me the game. There are so many games, you know as well, if you use a Verd here on Revenge. One Revenge proc is all it takes for Verd to just change the flow of the game. They allow your entire team to move, and if a violent proc after Revenge proc is the most ridiculous thing out there. That's why this rune set is still the most popular. But a lot of people opt to use Will instead of Revenge because they don't want their turn 1 to be resetted. Defense break, bomb, especially this unit, he can go in, and if he's faster than your Verd, he can shut down your Verd the entire game. If you Revenge onto a water unit, there's a very good chance you're gonna glance both, and then the Revenge prompt become useless. That's why I try to get his resistance as high as possible. If I don't get turn 1 with a speed lead, I'll try to get turn 2 with a resistance lead. And when a Verd is max resist, hitting into him when he's having a Revenge offset rune is really toxic. Okeanos, a very strong turn 1 unit, either reset you or stun the entire team. My boy is using swift, broken, speed, defense, and accuracy. He's not the fastest, but with speed lead, he's okay. And by speed lead, I mean War Young. He's having 88 accuracy to make sure that whenever I miss a stun or a reset, I have something to complain about. That's about it. You want him to have damage as well. Mine's on the lower end of damage because this skill, it do damage before it remove and then reset. So if you have decent damage on your Okeanos, you can break the shield, strip, and then reset if enemy is running shield wheel. Velaju, I've been using him much more this season after realizing how good he is against Hathor. He's on Violent Will, Speed, HP, and Defense. I'm trying to get a Defense enchant here. This rune is brand new, so I can't get him above 1000 bonus defense. Something just doesn't sit right with me when Velaju defense bonus is not at 1000. 900 is kind of weird. Because it's a 5 element unit, the skill 2 of Hathor is not as effective on Velaju. And one violent proc from Velaju can often change the entire flow of the match. Just like how a revenge proc from Vert can really screw people over. A violent proc from Velaju, entire team cleanse and attack bar increase, meaning you can even cut in between the enemy, and this thing is just super insane. I would love to get a bit more resistant so that when I run a resist lead, he will be at max resist. Rika, just like Virat, also a last pick for me when I see no immunity or only one immunity on the enemy team. With a recent buff to her slow debuff is insane. When you land slow debuff on the entire enemy team, it is very hard to recover from slow debuff. And I'm using her on Despair, Speed, HP, and HP. Her main damage comes from the dot, so you don't really need extra damage out of that. Try to get as much accuracy as possible on her and make her tanky. Very simple unit, very simple way to pick her, and she's simply super amazing. Next up, we have one of the most popular unit in the last season, Antares. He's on Despair Revenge, HP, crit damage, and attack. I've been seeing a lot of different violent Antares out there just to do the damage. Right now, he's not having the best Despair set because some of the runes belong on Zyros right now, the unit that I just pulled. But for now, this is okay. I only pick him when I see Diana or Hathor and Vert together without anything to stop Antares, like Illusia. Illusia is a perfect counter to Antares. Put him under 2-turn sleep and he can proc all he wants. When he wake up, you can freeze him once again with Illusia. Overall, you can pick him when enemy don't have a lot of damage and they trying to take a lot of turn, like let's say Gani, Hathor, Vert, Diana. That is where Antares will really destroy the entire enemy team. Despair is good. Violent is pretty popular nowadays for the peel damage. He's just insane. There's nothing to stop this unit. Like, he can proc one after another. That is the worst to deal with. I don't think he need a lot of speed or any speed at all, but you still want to have some speed because when you absorb attack bar with skill 2, you may want to move immediately after that. That'll be cool. But most of the time, you gain turn with Antares by having the passive proc. So having speed is like kind of wasted. I would love to get him a bit more HP, attack, and defense. If you can get the accuracy to land the slow debuff and the attack bar absorption, that'd be pretty cool too. But I think for Antares, focus more on the pure stats that you can get him. Juno is a very occasional pick as well. I only pick Juno when I see enemy team with low damage and no water element. So Gani, Hathor, Vert, and Triana, for example. You pick Juno in and then she can potentially solo the entire enemy team. She's on Despair Revenge, Speed, Crit Rate, and HP. I want her to gain turn as often as possible with the Revenge proc and the high Crit Rate build. Also, nobody really hit Juno. They tend to leave Juno alone, so having a lot of HP don't really matter that much in my opinion. I would love to get a bit more attack here. But some people just go and kill Juno right off the bat. Let's say they single out Juno with Hathor and then they use Lauren and Asia to defense break and reduce attack bar. Juno become pretty useless. So when you pick Juno, pay attention to ban either Lauren or Asia. It's very important. And then she can really do work. She's like a despair abuse machine because nobody really touch her. So she get a lot of chance to move, and when she move, you want her to stun. That's why she's on despair. And Nobody really built violence or anything else on Juno. Daphne, one of the most popular fire unit out there, one of the most picked as well because he's so amazing at sniping with Hellfire. I'm on Swift Blade, speed, crit damage, and attack. I would love to get a bit more crit rate, but I would have to decrease the accuracy. I used to have 30 accuracy and Island Girl meme me about that, but I've improved Island. I have a lot of defense on my Daphne because when you have the shield, the defense stat becomes so much more valuable. As you take less damage, the shield will last a bit longer. You want to have enough damage to instantly kill a friend in turn 1. That's what you want to aim for. Daphne is very good against friend. If the friend has will runes, you kill it immediately. If the friend buff, you kill something else immediately. So you want Daphne to have enough damage to kill a friend without attack buff. That is my benchmark. Another benchmark you can have is for the Daphne to kill anything else with attack buff. If you don't have attack buff, you may not kill most Triana or Vanessa or Diana out there. But when you do have attack buff, you have to kill everything. That's the benchmark. I run my Daphne faster than my other CC unit, so sometimes I use Daphne as a stripper as well. So I go in, if I see Triana's on Will, immediately use that on Triana even if I can't kill the Triana. Leo, I use him against Cleave Calm to reduce the attack bar of Bastet and Draco, but in the future, I will not be able to do that against Draco anymore, so I would say Leo got a nerf. Feels bad. He's on Vampire Nemesis, HP, crit damage, and attack. 0 speed, and I try to get a lot of HP, attack, and defense. He can hit pretty decently when he ignores defense. When I pick him against Cleave, I also run Vert, Triana, Miho, and yeah, tanky unit in general. Probably a Hathor first pick already. If you can try to get him more resistant because he'll awaken into resist, you can potentially have him at max resist so that enemy cannot stun, put attack break on him to take away his comeback opportunity. You can also put him on violent and he can be more aggressive, but I like vampire a lot because there's a very good chance for him to come back when the match go wrong. And the moment he ignores defense or unit, full heal, and then he can do it again and again and again. Very good against those Samav, Asia. As long as there's no fire unit, you have a very good chance of winning with Leo too. But I don't pick Leo often, but when you see enemy pick Leo in their lineup and it seems like Leo is the key pick, for example Leo, Vert, Molong, Perna, you should ban the Leo because they tend to be slow. That's why they pick Leo, so that they can balance out the speed on the field. Gani, he's on violent, will, speed, defense, and defense flat. I use this rune because of the 26 speed. That is about it. And Gani doesn't need to have some insane runes. He just needs to be there and reset Hathor or the unit and reset enemy with seal magic. So I don't really put too much of a good rune on Gani, but I put my best set on Hathor. She's on violent, will, speed, HP, and HP. She has 10 speed more than Gani, so that even with speed lead, my Hathor will still move in front of Gani. Why you want her to move in front of Gani? You want to have a chance to strip a unit. For example, if they have 2 will runes on a 4-man team, you strip 1 and then Gani reset. That is 3-man attack bar reset. If you do the other way around, Gani move in front of Hathor, he will only reset the attack bar of 2 units. Triana, I took off Will and I put in Nemesis. I used triple HP so that she's tanky against Molong. She will take a lot of Molong HP when he used the Reckless Assault. She can take a Daphne's hit and potentially have high resist when I run a resistant leader. I would love to improve this slot though. I think it's a blue rune. Yeah, it's pretty shitty blue rune. This one, I don't know what it is. It's a hero rune. This is so old. But the rest are pretty okay for now. I do need to improve these 2 slots. Fran, who is on Swift, Speed, Defense, and HP. I would love to change this rune to Nemesis or change this one to God to get the bonus effect. But for now, these 2 runes are pretty fast, and she is the 2nd fastest in my entire box. She moves in front of Daphne and Mina to potentially give them attack buff so that they can do their job more effectively. Lauren, the fastest unit in my box. Speed, defense, and HP. This rune I got just today. and I only had a blue grind for it. In the future, when I put in the legendary grind, get 5 speed, she'll be at 300 speed, and that's gonna be pretty amazing. Miho, I've been using her a bit more frequently against Cleave. She's really good against those Lucian, Garo, Julie, super amazing unit. Do a lot of damage, cannot die. She's on Vampire Nemesis, speed, crit damage, and attack. I would love to lower the HP and put in more attack, still trying to improve on that. But for now, this allow her to move consistently. The Nemesis effect can work with her own Eye for an Eye passive as well. So you gain a lot of attack bar when enemy trying to kill you. That's why I went with Nemesis. You can go with Will as well if you don't want to get destroyed turn 1 by a Ciara. But I love Nemesis for the long run. And you want to ban Ciara when you want to use Miho anyway. Ashdrubal, my secondary Hathor. Sometimes I cannot run Gani Hathor, I run Ashdrubal Hathor. Same thing. Pretty toxic. Violent Will, speed, defense, and accuracy. He used to be on crit damage, but I use that rune on Asia right now, so he's no longer doing some pretty solid damage. But the most important thing is still the accuracy. You want him to have accuracy to sleep the enemy and also block the buff. Very good against Fran, Wusa, and Josephine. Also, sometimes can clutch a fight against, what do you call that? Leona, the Dark Paladin. When you block the buff, the shield will not come up, and then Paladin, and then Leona become pretty easy to kill as well. He also provides a universal speed lead, which I desperately need, but still, 19% is nothing compared to 33%. The last unit, Woyoung, the speed lead that I have. She's on Violent Will, speed, crit damage, and HP. If I pull Vanessa, I'll probably transfer this entire set to Vanessa because it's tanky enough. It has good crit rate, good damage, decent speed, not too crazy, and some accuracy to land the defense break. So I plan to put this entire set onto Vanessa when I pull her. But now I'm using a lot of Woyoung to outspeed the enemy. She provides decent damage, some sort of healing, and a glancing debuff that never happened when I need it to. Now I'll demonstrate the speed tuning that I have for all my CC unit. For example, we both don't have speed lead, and I know that the entire enemy team is on violent build. My Daphnis will go turn 1 to strip and do a lot of damage. For example, I'll try to do damage on this Virat, and we take the runes away. I have my Shiho moving next to either finish up the unit that get armor broken or strip another unit. So I'll strip the enemy villager. And now my Hathor will take a turn to strip another unit. So this is the power of single target strip. You don't need an AoE stripper if your entire team can strip them one by one. So I missed that, feels bad. And now my Gani will take the last turn to reset the entire enemy team or most of the enemy team. So I'll take away the villager immunity and I'll put glancing of Virat. He will absolute 0 and glance, and he didn't glance on my Daphnis, which is fine. And I'll follow up with more stun coming out from Shiho, and now it's my chance to sleep the entire enemy team. So this is the turn order for my CC team. The same can also happen if I choose to run a speed lead. I'll prioritize resetting the enemy immunity units. I'll put that on Villager, and then I will sleep the enemy Hathor. And then now I have a chance to reset 3 different units. I can let Virat take a turn. Maybe that's not going to be too insane. But if my speed lead can also strip, which I sometimes use in the past, Shimite, I can potentially strip the Virat as well. So that can work too. So this is the speed tuning of my CC unit. If you replace the Okeanos with Lauren, it will work the same as well. When I think about how I rune my Lauren and Okeanos, I prefer Lauren to move first because she works as a stripper. That was not correct. And then Okeanos can either choose to strip, or if I have done all the stripping with Lauren, some people only run 1 unit on Will Runes, I can choose to stun the entire enemy team. If you flip the turn order and Okeanos take the first turn and not Lauren, Okeanos will force to be stripped, and then Lauren will be forced to strip another unit, which may not be needed. So if you do it this way, Oki can choose to go AoE stun or strip depending on the situation. That's why I put Lauren on the faster rune set and not Okeanos. I play on another account of my friend and he put Okeanos moving first, and a lot of time I have to use the strip, which I don't really want to. I want to use AoE stun, but because he's moving first, can't do that. I have to use the strip. In the past, I used to run a vile friend, but I realized that sometimes my Daphne cannot kill the enemy without attack buff. So I switch up to the friend moving in front of Daphne. With attack buff, he will be able to kill almost anything on the enemy team as long as I land a defense break. So right now I'll ×1 and kill probably the tankiest unit over there, Villager. I'll take it. I'll go in. If I land a crit, it's gonna do more than enough damage to kill pretty much anything. Now let's say I don't have the attack buff. I'll do the same thing onto the Villager. This time I may not be able to kill because sometimes the Villager can be pretty tanky. So right there he's left with like 1 HP, which is very unfortunate. And the violent friend who is slower than Daphne for sure is left there feeling sad when she couldn't give Daphne's attack buff. Also, I try to get my friend to move in front of these 2 damage dealers as well, so that they can potentially just destroy 2 units if this kind of team come through. So let's try to hit the Shiho over there. Let's see if we can try to kill the Shiho. We can definitely kill the Shiho with this 3rd hit, and then we go in and we kill the enemy, let's say Hathor, with Daphne as well. So if you can run this kind of team, you reduce the chance for enemy to proc violent if they are dead. This is really good, and I love the fact that friend is moving in front of my damage dealer. That's it for the rune showcase, guys. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below, leave a comment. If you have any questions about any unit over here, or if you have questions about RTA, I would love to answer as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.